What if I told you that you already possess powerful intuitive gifts and just haven't realized it yet? Most people overlook these hidden signs that their intuition is speaking to them. But in today's episode, I'll help you discover which intuitive gift you have and how you can begin to unlock its full potential. Greetings and hello, my fellow mystics, psychics, and spiritual seekers. My name is Richard Tracy, and I'm the visionary behind Circle of Mystics. I help spiritual seekers build confidence in their intuitive abilities, discover new techniques, and master their psychic skill set. I bid you good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be across the world's 25 time zones, drifting through the illusion of space and time. And I'm so happy that you have found yourself here. I want to personally welcome you to the Circle of Mystics podcast. And tonight, we're going to be talking about discovering your hidden intuitive powers and which gifts you have. Nonetheless, it's an exciting topic which has been highly requested by my fans, followers, and listeners. And thanks all of you so much. I am truly grateful for your support. Now, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever doubted your intuitive abilities or insights? Because I know I have. In a few years back, I was stuck in a toxic work environment that left me drained and frustrated every day. I knew deep down that I wanted more out of life, something meaningful, something aligned with who I was. But I had no idea where to start. And worse yet, I felt totally disconnected from the people around me. They didn't share my interests, similar interests in self-development, or these mystical, esoteric topics, or spirituality. No matter how much I spent to relate and build that rapport with them, it just felt empty. And I kept asking myself, where do I belong? And how can I connect with people that actually get me? During that time, the forest became my sanctuary. Every day before work, I'd head into the woods for some cardio, and after work, I'd go for a long walk on the same paths. There was one spot in particular, a fallen log that I'd jump over on my runs. I started to call it my Eureka log, because every time that I jumped over it, an answer to whatever had been on my mind would just drop into my awareness. It felt surreal. But I kept brushing it off, thinking that's just coincidence. And then one day, I found myself wrestling with the same thought over and over. And it was this: where can I find people like me? People who care about spirituality and self-development and thinking what's beyond this veil of the matrix. And as I approached the log, the Eureka log, the question kept running circles in my mind, and it was just getting stronger and stronger and burning. And just as I leapt over the log, the word pagan flashed into my mind, completely out of the blue. It was like it was placed there. It was so vivid and precise that for the first time, I didn't dismiss it. I was like, I believe that there's a deeper purpose behind this. So later that day, I went home and I typed pagan societies near me into Google. And a week later, I was sitting in a pagan society meeting, surrounded by people who finally spoke my language. That experience was a turning point for me. It was the confirmation I needed. Proof that these seemingly random flashes weren't just my imagination. They were real messages from my intuition. From that moment on, I made a promise to myself. That promise was this: I would stop doubting these insights, and I wanted to get more of them. I wanted to be able to trust them. I wanted them to be clearer. So I started to trust these messages I received. And you know what? The more I trusted, the more things started to align. The more I took action on them, the more synchronicities would actually appear. So this Pagan Society meeting, it wasn't just a one-off event. It opened the door to deeper spiritual experiences, stronger connections, and a sense of belonging. I had been searching for all of those things all along. I shared that experience about the log specifically when I was there, and I learned that that was an example of what's known as claircognizance, which happens to be one of my strongest clair abilities. So now that we've talked about how intuition guided me to the Pagan Society, let's dive deeper. You might be wondering, how does intuition show up in everyday life? It can be subtle, so subtle that most people miss it altogether. But once you start recognizing these signs, you'll realize that your intuition has been speaking to you all along. So here are 5 signs of intuition that most people overlook, and how you can start to notice them in your daily life. 1, gut feeling. The body is a compass. This is a popular one. A lot of people get this all the time, and it's that feeling in your gut. So you know that sensation when something just kind of feels off, right? Maybe it's a pit in your stomach, tightness in the chest, your throat, but in this instance, gut feeling is referring specifically to the gut. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's an unexplainable unease about a decision you're making. That's not random. It's intuition in action. I'm going to give you a quick example. When I was searching for a new place to live, I found an apartment that looked great. It was affordable, the good location, spacious. But the moment that I stepped inside, I felt a tightness in my chest and my stomach was acting up. Something was off, but I brushed it off though, because I really needed a place. But I was thinking, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just kind of nervous. But anyway, I ended up signing the lease. Not long after moving in, problems started to pile up. The landlord was unresponsive. He was ignoring maintenance issues. And my neighbors, they warned me about bad experiences with him. And things escalated when water damage from another unit spread into mine, and he refused to fix it. And that's when it hit me. I was like, man, I should have trusted my gut from the start. So here's how you can nurture your gut feeling. Pay attention to your body's signals when making decisions. Where is that feeling coming from? Are you calm? Are you tense? And the second thing, trust those first impressions, even if they don't make logical sense at first. The more you listen, the clearer your intuition will become. Now we're going to move on to the second one, dream messages. The subconscious speaks to us in dream time. There's a lot of other things that occur during dream time, but we're going to focus on this particular area when it comes to dream messages. So I want to ask you, do you ever have vivid dreams that feel more meaningful than usual? very cinematic, maybe. Your intuition often speaks through dreams, especially when your conscious mind is too busy during the day to listen. I'm going to share another story, an example that I once had a dream about a friend, and I hadn't spoken to them in a while. And in the dream, he looked distressed, he looked tired, he wasn't doing well. He made eye contact with me in the dream, and he asked me, he said, "Richard, can you help me?" And that was pretty meaningful because I had never dreamt about this person in that capacity. I reached out to them the next day. It turned out he was going through a tough time, and he really needed someone to talk to. So that dream wasn't just my imagination, it was a nudge from my intuition. So here's how you can nurture that. Keeping a dream journal. I have dream journals from over a decade ago. I've got some from nearly 2 decades ago. But if you keep a dream journal by your bed and you write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, over time, patterns and recurring symbols will become more noticeable. The other thing that you can do is you set an intention before sleeping to receive guidance through your dreams, and your subconscious will respond. And that brings us to number 3, energy sensitivity. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly sensed the energy? Like tension that you could cut with a knife. Or the opposite, like a very welcoming, calm, inviting atmosphere. That's clairsentience, okay? Or clear feeling. And that's an intuitive ability to sense energy. One time, I used to work in a cafe, and I walked into work, but the energy felt off, like something was hanging in the air. There was only staff that were in there, but I tried to ignore it, but I just couldn't focus or help. It kept gnawing at me. So luckily at that time I was able to go work downstairs for a bit, and I did that. Anyway, later I found out that there had been a really intense argument between 2 of those coworkers, and the owner, who is watching on camera and listening, came in, and just there was a triage of things that went on, and it was still tense. So my intuition kind of just picked up on the lingering tension, even though I had no idea what had happened. Some of the videos that I've done before in podcasts, you may have heard me refer to the body being an antenna, and your body kind of acting like a radar in a way. But when you notice how your body feels when you enter new environments, that's the key, noticing how your body feels. So are you suddenly energized, or do you feel drained? Those are 2 key indicators right there. The other thing too is paying attention to your first impression. It's so key. Those first impressions, they're often intuitive hits before the logical mind has time to kick in and kind of analyze things. That brings us to the 4th, the unexpected insights. Knowing without knowing why. So, have you ever just known something without being able to explain how you knew? Now that's claircognizance, clear knowing. These insights often show up as spontaneous thoughts, ideas, or realizations that feel undeniable. So I already shared one story, but I'm going to share another one. One time, during a conversation with a friend, I suddenly blurted out advice that I had never even thought of before, and we all have our normal language that we use. We all have our normal baseline vernacular, And this was something that I wouldn't have thought of on my own. So it was something I wouldn't normally say, but here's the thing, is that it felt right to say it. And my friend, after I said it, they said that it was exactly what they needed to hear. And moments like these show how intuition can bypass the logical mind. So here's how you can nurture claircognizance, by the way, my most prominent clair ability. It's writing down spontaneous insights or ideas, even if they seem random. The more you acknowledge them, the more frequently they'll show up. Another two is practicing meditation. By practicing meditation to quiet your mind, you make space for these moments of knowing. You make space for these insights and downloads to come in. And that brings us to number 5, emotional signals. These are feelings that come out of nowhere. There's so many examples of this as it relates to a mother's intuition, or we've just been doing something and then we got a weird feeling about a friend. So yeah, do you ever experience emotions that seem to just come out of nowhere, right? Tied to situations you haven't even thought about? These feelings can be intuitive signals, and they offer insight into unresolved issues, or they're guiding you toward the right path. So I just want to share a story about how once I felt an overwhelming sense of sadness during a regular day. At first, I couldn't figure out why. Later, I remembered an important anniversary connected to a friend. And when I reached out to them, they had been struggling that day. My intuition had picked up on their energy, even though we hadn't spoken. And that was fairly profound. Lining up the dots like that, it was something that I just, normally wouldn't have picked up on. But here's how you can nurture that ability. Pause and reflect, especially when the strong emotions arise, and ask yourself, is this mine, or am I picking up on someone else's energy? So pause and reflect when it just comes out of nowhere. This is another one that's super important, is grounding and breath work. Now, these practices help you process these emotions and stay attuned to intuitive signals. They also help you to, whenever you do pick up on energy that isn't yours, you can give it back to the ether, or you can give it back to the earth. So this is a key point here. It's how to notice and nurture these signs every day. Now that you know these 5 signs, you might start noticing them more in your daily life. And intuition doesn't always show up as a loud voice or a big sign. It's often the quiet nudge, the subtle feeling, or the thought that comes out of nowhere. The key is to pay attention and act on these insights, even if they don't seem logical at first. Trust me, the more you acknowledge and nurture your intuition, the stronger it will become. So if you've been doubting your intuition or struggling to trust these subtle signals, I've got a solution for you. Developing and refining your intuitive gifts take time, but having the right guidance and tools makes it so much easier. And that's why I created the Psychic Confidence Power Up package. A complete roadmap to unlock your abilities, trust the signs, and strengthen your psychic gifts. So imagine tapping into your intuition with confidence, knowing you're on the right path every step of the way. Now is the perfect time to take action. The more you practice these skills, the more they align with your life's purpose. This package gives you the guidance, tool, support, and community you need to grow. So, if you're ready to take the next step, here's what you can do. Download my free ebook, Secrets of Psychic Development, a Quick Start Guide. The link is in the description below. It's designed to get you results quickly. and things that you can take action on right away. Another thing you can do, join the Facebook community. This is where people of like mind can connect, and you can share your experiences, grow together. There's all sorts of exclusive gifts that are in there. The link is also below in the description. The other thing you can do, book a session through the Psychic Confidence Power Up package. That's the ultimate way to unlock your full potential. There's one-on-one guidance, personalized tools, access to the secret psychic training vault. I cross-reference your astrological DNA with an Akashic Records reading to see where in your astrological chart and with your Akashic Records, what specific abilities you have that are most prominent for you to cultivate and develop, and how that aligns with your purpose, and more. There's limited spots available with those. So right now they're half price for that. It's $222. It's normally $444. So book now while you can before spots fill up. Also, please like, share, and subscribe with this video and stay updated with future episodes and intuitive insights. This is your time to trust your gifts and step into your power. The more you engage, the more aligned your journey becomes. So let's build this momentum together.